Hello and welcome to the Golf Course Lawn Show. My name is Ron Henry and I'm here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box. In that chat box, you get into your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answer, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. All right, guys. So thanks so much for stopping by tonight. As always, we are coming to you live on YouTube as our primary platform, but you can also watch the show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as well. So we'll go live there. So if any that are joining on Instagram, so feel free to chime in and ask your questions, your concerns, and we'll go through them. Something we're trying out tonight for the first time, we'll be doing more of this, is that any of the Golf Course Lawn Academy members, Lawn Legends members, they are able to call in if they want to. So we'll see if anyone pops in tonight, and then we'll see if we can take some questions live. So we'll get going to it. So first of all, guys, we're halfway through October. It's crazy how quickly the year has gone by, and yet there's still growing season left, right? There's still time to get our lawns looking good before they shut down for the entire year. I've got some updates as far as the Xeon Zoysia, and we got Eddie. I got you here, Eddie. Cool. So yeah, Eddie. So we'll bring you in here in a little bit to ask your question if you want. And should be good times. All right, so let's jump into some questions we have this evening. First of all, let's start out with Mr. Steve K. He says, "Good evening, Ron and everyone. Some really great colors with the changing of the seasons. Mid to low 30s forecasted at this week at night." Wow, where in the country are you? You said, sorry, East Tennessee along the Cumberland Plateau. So I'm guessing that's up high, because the fact that you're getting 30s already is kind of wild. So So yeah, that's it's interesting. Yeah, we're not definitely getting temperatures that cool in the evening just yet. Um, but um, but yeah, I mean that's I guess that's good if you like cool weather, right? Yeah, in Georgia, we're still 70s during the day. I think it might be getting into the high 50s, low 60s at night, but we're not anywhere near the 30s just yet. So we'll be there. We'll be there soon enough. All right. Next up, we have Jackie Bear. He says, Brother Ron, have an excellent stream, sir. Thanks so much, Jackie. I appreciate you coming in to say hi in the live stream. Appreciate you. Hopefully, the shoulder is doing better. And then next up, we have a question from Dan in Kansas. So Dan was on the live stream earlier. It's a good question. He says, so good evening, Ron. Thanks for the content. Thinking ahead to the spring scalp. I mean, you're definitely getting ahead of it, but we'll take it. He says, should I dare to use a brand new, fresh off the shelf Revolution 26 or a Honda rotary to do the job, or a John Deere S120? God bless. So you can use any of them, Dan. I mean, really for scalping, I mean, it would hurt my heart to take a brand new reel mower and put that, use that from a standpoint of scalping your lawn. The John Deere or the Revolution 26, either of those, sorry, the John Deere or the Honda rotary would be a good choice. The big thing you want to make sure is whichever you can bag the clippings. So with the John Deere, I think it's a riding mower. So I'm not sure if there's a bagging attachment for that one. So you may have to use the Honda rotary. What you would not want to do is go out, scalp the lawn, throw all the debris back in the lawn, then have to do a big cleanup after you're done, which would not be great, right? So really depends on what attachments you have on those pieces of equipment. And the big thing is, as part of scalping, you want to pick up all the clippings. You don't want to have to go out there and do double work. Scalp it and then have to go do a bunch of cleanup after the fact. So the Revolution 26 would be my last option, mainly because it's a brand new mower. And if you go out there and use it to scalp, you are going to put quite a bit of wear and tear on the reel, which may cause you to have to go out and get it sharpened, which would be a shame to do that to a brand new mower. So again, I would lean towards the John Deere or the Honda rotary, probably the rotary, because that one you're definitely gonna be able to bag the clippings for. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Eddie, I'm not sure if you're around, but let me just chat with you back and forth here, and let's see if you're ready to pop in, and if so, we'll bring you on the stream. All right. So while I wait for a response from Eddie, next up we have Vahid Navi. He says, "Hey everyone, happy Friday. What's going on, Vahid? From the Great White North, from Canada. Hopefully you are doing well, sir. Thanks for stopping in the live stream. I mean, I imagine you're probably close to the 30s as well too at this point." And then next up we got Scott Smith. He says, "Good evening from West Tennessee. Where do we send pictures for questions?" Great question, Scott. So you would send them to my email. Ideally, I like to get them before the show starts because it makes it easier to get them formatted properly and on the show. But you want to email ron@golfcourselawn.com. That's where you can send them. And ideally, you want to take the pictures with your phone in landscape, not portrait. So like this, not like this. All right, makes it easier for me to format it. So if you want to send a picture in along with your question, feel free to do so. But yeah, pictures, email, question, just here in the chat. All right, let me see if I can bring Eddie in. Let's see if we can make this work. So Eddie, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, and I'm going to try adding you once you do so. Let's do this. So add Eddie as a camera, and then let's bring you in over here on the right. Eddie, can you hear me? I should do this. Hey, Eddie, can you hear me?
Yes.
There we go. It's working. I love when plan comes together. So tell me, sir. So guys, something we're trying out tonight. Again, Eddie is an Academy member. He's part of our Lawn Legends group, a new community we just started. So tonight we're just we're testing things out as far as taking questions from some of our members. So Eddie, what's been going on, man? I guess one of the questions that we had, the theme of the show is challenges and successes that you've had this year. So give us a quick update, like as far as this year, what's been some of the challenges you've had with your lawn, and what's some of the things you've gotten better at, or some things you still have to work on?
Well, we have to look that I'm fairly new at this. I don't have the experience some folks have, so your content is very good for me. I'm still learning how to deal with no rain, the things that the lawn needs, how to make sure what to put down, when to put it down, those type things. So, following along, getting into the golf course academy and checking those things have been great. So, my stuff is fairly new. This is going to be my going into my third spring. So, I want to make sure I'm continuing to get the right pre-emergence down in the right amounts at the right time. Do I put liquid spectral flow down one time and 007 down the next time? Those type things. Swap things out instead of just getting everything down at once.
Yeah, yeah, and it's good. I mean, the big thing you're going to find, man, is we've got some great guidance in the academy, which you already know, between the calendar and the other course material there. But what you will find is every lawn is different. So eventually, you will be able to take what's in the academy, in our calendar, that's on the store and also within the group, and you'll be able to tailor that to your lawn. You may find some things that you like, and you continue and you do those, and some things that you may want to alter slightly. But it's one of these things I always tell folks, replicate, like follow the program at least the first year, like to the letter, and then if you wanted to swap things in and out, then feel free to do so.
I think part of the question I have as a newbie is always I'm scared to put too much down
Hmm.
of something to where I'm going to kill my lawn or have to start all over, because once you make a mistake in this, it's not just a fix. Next week it's going to come back. So you get a little nervous about some of this stuff.
Yeah. So as far as knowing what to put down, or how much to put down, the biggest thing when it comes to applying, say, let's take like a liquid product, right? The As long as you take the time, and you really want to do this once, take the time to really calibrate your sprayer, to know like what your walking pace needs to be to put out a gallon over 1,000 square feet. That's really the hard work, because if you look at the label for any of the products, right, you look at like spectacle, spectacle fungicides, herbicides, like for the most part all the labels are going to say this much product over 1,000 square feet. And what we're going to be doing is by you calibrating your equipment, you'll be able to know, like, again, what your walking pace needs to be to put out a gallon of material, a gallon of solution over 1,000 square feet. And if you do that, it's really not, it's difficult for you to really have a bad result, if that makes sense. Does that make sense to
Yeah,
you?
it does. That makes sense. Learning the equipment is very important. I've learned that. Learn your sprayer, learn your spreader. Fertilizer, of course, with a spreader is very hard because uh, you don't want to put down too much of that. You don't want to waste it. The stuff is
Right.
not cheap sometimes. So, yeah, it's a new thing, new hobby, but it's become addicting.
Awesome. Well, I get it, man. No, the thing is, you care, you're paying attention to it, so I am fairly certain you're going to get a good result. And as always, you can always reach out to me and all the other members in the Lawn Legends community. You can hit us up if you have any questions, and that's what we're here for, right? To help you get the lawn that your
Thank,
neighbors are going to envy.
thanks a lot.
All right, and thanks for dialing in again. Appreciate it. Let me put you back in the waiting room. That's awesome, man. Cool. Good times. All right, guys. So let's move on to our next question. Our next viewer here. We got uh, the lawn mechanic saying, "Hey everyone, what's going on, lawn mechanic? Hopefully you're doing all right. Thanks for stopping in the live stream." And then next we have so Ohio here. So that's interesting, lawn mechanic. I mean, I guess you being in Ohio, it's still cool where you guys are. So imagine your lawns are still doing fairly well. Uh, but yeah, it'd be interesting to know how your lawn is doing this time of year, given that things are really getting cooler. All right, next up we got Mac042. It's been a while, man. He says, hey, Ron, Julian, finally got a free Friday. Thanks for all your help. Very much appreciated. Yeah, thanks so much, Julian, for stopping by to hang out in the live stream. Yeah, man, we always email back and forth. It's always after the fact that we tend to correspond. So it's cool that you actually got some time off to be able to stop in tonight and say hello. So yeah, while you're here, if you got any questions, feel free to drop in. If you are in the live stream, so we got Mother of Dragons. So I'll tell you what, if so anyone that's joining from the school group, please let me know. Like you have to tell me what your name is, so I know who I'm talking to. So if you can let me know what your name is, so I can know who I'm bringing in, and we can get your question in there in a second. Okay. Next up is Chuck Thomas. He says, "Hey Ron and fellow turf types, saw a sign on a main lighthouse that said grass grows by inches but dies by feet. Please don't tread on me." That's good. That's good. Grass grows by inches but treads by feet. So pretty much don't walk on my grass, is what they're saying, right? I can see that. Guys. So I had to go out today and take some pictures of the lawn so I can appreciate it in all its glory. So I did double cut the Xeon zoysia today. It's still holding on to its color fairly well. I can show you guys what we're working with. So that's picture this afternoon, and then this is some video of how it is. Unfortunately, in the neighborhood, they are running fiber for, I guess, Comcast is coming in the neighborhood. So I'm not sure if my lawn is going to be one of the ones that's also going to get dug up. Heaven help us. So if it is, at least I'll have some nice pictures of it before. Because they're kind of going up and down the streets and doing stuff, but you can see how the lawn is filling in nicely. Stripe action is still on point. The color isn't quite as vibrant as it was, a few months ago, but still looks way better than the Bermuda. And for anyone that's asking what I'm working with as far as height of cut, it's still set to 3/4 of an inch. There you go. There's the thumb test, the finger test. So we're still at 3/4 of an inch, still holding on to its color pretty well, and overall quite happy with this. This lawn is coming up now on 6 months old. 6 months old. So not bad. Not bad at all. Let me send Mother of Dragons a message here, and so I can make sure I know who I'm talking to. Okay, next up we have, pop in here, Chuck, we already got Chuck's question. Next we have Vahid Navi. He says, lawn is green and nice on 1/2 inch, just dealing with leaves. I just want to know, how can I deal with worm castings? Is sand good enough? Yeah, well, here's the thing, I'd say, Vahid, like earthworms or worm castings in your lawn are actually a good sign. They're a sign of healthy soil. So I get worm castings in my lawn. I don't do anything to try and get rid of earthworms. Pretty much whenever I run over the castings with my reel mower, they get mashed down. So I know they can be kind of unsightly, but worm castings, earthworms in your lawn, it's like nature's aeration, and it's a sign of healthy soil. So I really would encourage you. I think you're in Canada, so you're not going to be able to get anything really to go after earthworms anyway. But I'd encourage you to kind of just embrace it as part of having a good lawn. I really wouldn't try and do anything to get rid of them, because again, it is a sign that you're doing a lot of things right as far as the quality of your soil. All right, so let me bring Lori in. So Lori, I'm not sure what your question is, but in a second here, and it's your call whether you want to be on camera or not. But I'll bring you here into the live stream here, and we can take your question. So let me go ahead and add you, and we'll see what questions you have. All right. Let me ask you to unmute real quick. So once you do that, Lori, we'll be able to bring you in. Hey, Lori, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ron. How are you?
Good. Awesome. Yeah, I cannot complain. So what's your pleasure? You want to be on video, or do you want to just do a phone call? Just chat?
No, just a phone call's fine. Thanks.
No worries. Okay, great. So how can I help? So first of all, Lori, I know Academy member, relatively new to the Lawn Legends group. So what can we help answer tonight?
So I'm starting to see a little dormancy here in North Texas, especially where I am getting a lot more shade than I do during the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
I put down my 12024. I put down my fungicide. Is there anything else that I need to do to it other than tell it good night and let it go to sleep?
I mean, really, at this point, yeah. I mean, you've got a couple things working against you. The shade is going to cause the lawn to check out a little bit sooner because sunlight is the fuel that really causes Bermuda warm season grasses to really do well. I mean, all grasses need sunlight, but especially warm season grasses. So no, you've done the right things. You did your 12-0-24, so it's a good fertilizer to feed the lawn going into the fall, winter. And then you got your preventative fungicide app. Yeah, I mean, keep mowing it if it's growing. And I'd say in November, plan for another fungicide app, and then that's it. Just let it go to sleep and enjoy the time off.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, Ron. Appreciate you, man.
No worries at all. So, before I let you go, I guess as far as goals for your lawn, what are you thinking for next year? Like, I know you're relatively new to the live stream, or to the group, but what are your plans for next year? I guess as far as your lawn goes.
I want to improve my mow on it. I'm currently mowing with a California trimmer Catalyst 20-inch, but I have a Toro Greenmaster 1600 on order that should be here hopefully Christmas-ish.
Nice.
And I'd like to see what it looks like a little lower than I'm able to get clean on the California trimmer. I can get it down below 1/2 inch with it, but it's a really messy cut.
Right. Yeah, well, the Greensmaster you're going to be really happy with. I mean, it's as far as a machine for cutting, like Toro does not build a bad mower. So going from the Catalyst, not there's anything wrong with the Catalyst or the Revolution or True Cut or any of those mowers, but the Greensmaster is an entirely new level. So I think you're going to be really happy with it. The only thing I'd say is depending on how low you plan to take it, you may have to look into top dressing depending on how smooth the lawn is. But I mean, you got the most important part, which is a mower.
Yeah, we're gonna, I did the sod is 2 years old, or just over a year old. It'll be 2 years old next year. It was laid in May of 2024. Top dressed with sand this year, leveled with sand, I guess, not really top dress. Leveled with sand this year. Got a pretty good level on it. Plan is next spring to hit it maybe with a little bit more of a top dress than a sand leveling. Get some organic matter down in it. The soil is a really heavy clay.
Okay.
So one of the things I need to do a better job of next year is actually aeration. I still have a lot of compaction on it, so I didn't really hit it real good with the aerator this year. So I need to do a little bit better job of that next year and give it a little bit less compaction than it has. Fill it in with some organic matter and let her run.
Yep. It sounds like a plan. I mean, remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, but at least you have a plan. And yeah, next season, the thing is, you're ending in a better spot. So next year you'll be even better. So just, enjoy the process is what I would say. Enjoy the journey.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Lori. Really appreciate you. And again, if I can help with anything, feel free to reach out to anyone else in the Lawn Legends group, or you can always shoot me an email and I'll do my best to help you out.
Thanks a lot, Ron. I really appreciate you, man.
No worries. All right. Thanks. Okay. So next up we have, let me put Lori back here. 1 second. And cool. All right, done. Okay. Next up we have True Gator Fan. He says, happy Friday, Ron. About to get a mow in before dark. Can only mow on the weekend because of sunlight. Still green, growing in Memphis. Putting down dimension and last spoon for you tomorrow. Sent pictures, you say. There we go. So we got something from True Gator Fan. Which oh, man, that looks good. Wow, dormancy hasn't hit you yet. You're still looking pretty good. Let's get you up here. So you're still spoon feeding. You did your fall pre-emergent, all good things. I like that. And this is what you are working with. I mean, overall, the color still looks pretty good, man. That still looks really solid. I can't say anything. Can't say anything wrong with that. I mean, what I would tell you is don't, as far as the height, leave it where it is. Don't go out and make any height of cut changes, because if you were to do that now, it's likely not going to come back. But as far as how this looks, man, I mean, that's really good. I mean, especially you being up in a bit further north, it's holding on to its color really well. So yeah, keep going, looking solid. I like it. I like it. Okay, next up is Mr. Scott Smith. He says, I can only afford a manual push reel mower for now. Dude, listen, here's the thing. Before I read this, your question, nothing wrong with a manual push reel mower. Like, I used to push reel mow first with a 16-inch, which was, at the time, my lawn was like 12,000 square feet. And then I upgraded big time to a 20-inch push reel mower. So start with that. And just nothing. There's no shame in that at all. So you have a Scott's Pro 18-inch 7-blade. Nice. Arriving tomorrow. I've been mowing with a battery-powered push rotary. Yeah, dude. So here's what I would say, right? With the manual push reel mower, the thing that you are looking to figure out is if reel mowing is really for you. Now, I kind of guess it's probably going to be, but the big thing that is going to allow you to be successful when it comes to reel mowing a lawn is just consistency. Whereas if you're rotary mowing, you can get by with once a week, depending on how high you're maintaining your lawn, maybe every 10 days, and it can look okay. With reel mowing, you're really looking at twice per week if you want the lawn to look its best. You're looking at, once on the weekend, and I always tell folks, Wednesday, Thursday evening, carve out an hour to get up there and mow the lawn. And that's what this piece of equipment is really going to show you whether or not you can stick with that consistently. And then after you do that for a while, you'll be able to, save up and then move into a powered mower, and you're really going to enjoy it. But even going from a battery powered rotary to a push reel, there's going to be a noticeable improvement in cut quality and the way your turf looks. So, I mean, just start with what you got, man. I had 2 push rotary mowers before I got into powered reel mowers, and you will be very happy with the results you're going to get with that piece of equipment. I mean, yours is a 7-blade. I was working with 5 blades, so yours should cut even better than what I was working with. All right, it's good times, man. Thanks for jumping in the live stream, and hopefully that's helpful. Send us a picture of the mower once you get it. Right, definitely got to do that. You said so. You got the mower. You said it's set at the 2-inch notch, but it's more of 1.5 inches. Any tips, pointers for the first time reel mowing? Okay, so the first time you reel mow your lawn, when you go from a rotary mower to a reel mower, depending on the height of cut that you were at before, the lawn is probably actually going to look a little bit worse initially, right? So you're going to see maybe some scalping. You're going to see, it's going to take a little bit of time to train the lawn to get used to that lower height of cut. But I mean, really within 2 weeks, it should start looking a lot better, especially if you're consistent with it. So what I would tell you is when you get the new mower, you get it set at a height of cut that you want to maintain the lawn at, just mow as frequently as you can. If you can mow twice per week, 3 times per week, it's only going to help you. Now, this time of year, you didn't say where in the country you are, but this time of year, as far as the lawn's ability to recover from height of cut changes, especially if you have a warm season lawn, that's going to be a bit delayed. But it can still look quite nice. It can still look good if you're consistent with your mowing. So if you were at 2 inches, or say your lawn was at 2 inches when you're rotary mowing it, you're going to 1.5 inches with a reel mower, I think that's solid. I would personally, I would leave it there for the remainder of the season. Just cut it and and then next year, if you decide you're going to go lower, just slowly step it down. So if you want to send a picture of the lawn after once you start mowing it, and I'll give you some feedback as far as whether I think that height of cut's going to be good for it, or if there's any other adjustments I would make. But it sounds like you're at 2 inches. You're going to 1.5 inches. That's not a huge ask, a huge swing. So yeah, I would. I think you're off to a great start, and you're gonna do well with it, man. I really wouldn't be too concerned. The big thing I would tell you is don't push for crazy low heights of cut right away. The challenge you're also going to have with a rotary, even if you did a reel mower, a push reel mower, if you try to do that, is because you're the one that's powering it, really I'd say 3/4 of an inch with like that Scott's mower you have is about the limit as far as you're going to want to go. Really about an inch is where it's going to probably perform best. But once you get down to like say 3/4 of an inch, you're going to start having challenges with getting a good cut with that piece of equipment. So I'd say if you're at 1.5 inches now, I'd have an inch as your target goal. Like that's where you'd want to get the lawn to eventually and just maintain it there. Much lower than that, you may run into issues with like washboarding and that type of thing. Again, it depends on your lawn, how thick it is, that type of thing. But really, an inch is, I'd say, the reasonable limit for most push reel mowers. All right. I mean, there are some that'll go lower than that, like the Hudson Stars, some of the greens mower type ones. But what you have is not that. All right. So I hope that helps, sir. Again, if you want to send us a picture of the equipment once you get it and of the lawn once you begin reel mowing it with the new equipment, let us know. Happy to show that off to everybody. We can see where you are so we can, all take note of this is where Scott started. This is where he ended up after a lot of consistency in his lawn. We got someone else, another Academy member. This one is Randall. He shared a picture of his lawn. He's got Bermuda and was saying that, even though we're into mid-October, his lawn is still holding on to its color pretty well. So this is what he's working with. Again, the stripe action color looks really good. But yeah, I mean, overall for mid-October, you can't hate on that. And again, the big thing to look at is if you look at his lawn, the color of his lawn, and then look at the house in the background, you can see how that lawn is largely checked out, going dormant, but his is holding on to its color fairly well. So nice work, Randall. Thanks for sending the pictures in, ahead of the show, and just keep going, man. Enjoy it while the color's holding on. Okay, next up, we have Robert Wallace. Robert, what's going on, man? My favorite Falcons and I think Clemson, right? Clemson fan. My favorite Falcons and Clemson fan. He says, "What's going on, Ron? Happy Friday to you. Hope you're doing well, sir. Thanks for so much for coming by to say hi and stop in." Robert, I'm not sure if you are an Academy member. Anyone that's on the show tonight, if you're in the Facebook group, you guys will notice that I put a post in there and I sent all you guys an email to get you into the new group to where you can join the live stream if you guys want to, you have a question, that type of thing. Because the platform, it's something that's only for the Academy members. We're calling it the Golf Course Lawn Legends. So check your email if you saw something come in from school, SKOOL. But I'll likely be sending it out again because we've had about half people come over, but we're still missing quite a few. So I don't want anyone to be left behind as far as that goes. But hopefully you're doing well, sir. And if I can help with anything else, let me know. All right, we got Mr. Randy Cobb. He says, 2 questions. I'm in zone 8A. I just laid emerald zoysia sod. Congrats on the zoysia. How should I treat it and care for it during the fall and winter, including a pre-emergent? Okay, when you say you just laid it, how recent is that? You didn't say. You said, second question, how should I treat my established emerald zoysia during fall and winter? Okay, so I'm confused. So I'm guessing you have 2 parts of your lawn. You have a section that you just install some emerald zoysia, and you have an area that you have that's already established. Because that's what I'm getting from your question. All right. So what I would tell you, Randy, is a couple things. As far as pre-emergent, you're going to want to be careful. So I use Spectacle on my lawn, but it was 5 months old at the time when I did that. If you're going to, I don't know how long you say you just laid it. I don't know what that means. If that means like the spring, or if that means like a week ago. What I would tell you is this. If you're still here in the chat, let me know like how long it's been since the zoysia actually was installed. And as far as things you can do this time of year, fungicide is something that I'm a huge fan of on new sod that is being established. I mean, based on your first part of the question, you're probably still watering it fairly heavily to get it to root in it. And preventative fungicide at this type of year is good insurance for keeping disease pressure down. And even with you having a new lawn, because again, you tend to be watering heavier, it's a it's a good way to help prevent that. You know what I mean? To help suppress potential disease problems in your lawn. So that's what I would tell you. A preventative fungicide app. If you're looking for ways to help improve the soil quality, actually, we can go over here to the golf course lawn so I can show you really quickly. I can talk, but why not show? Right? So as far as fungicide, thing one would be if you go to shop and then fungicide insecticide, it's really your call whether you prefer liquid or granular. As far as effectiveness, both products are fairly equivalent. They're both dual modes of action fungicides. So Headway G, if you want something that's just granular, easy to put down with your fertilizer spreader, your broadcast spreader, and then Pillar SC if you prefer a liquid option. I would do an application of this now and then another application 4 weeks from now. That's going to do a lot for just helping suppress any potential disease problems you may have in your lawn, especially if you're going to be watering heavier than usual as you're getting the sod to establish. The other thing I would tell you, as far as fertilizer, I'm not sure if you've fed the lawn at all, but this time of year, a good fertilizer to kind of close the season out with, as far as from a granular standpoint, is a higher potassium fertilizer. So our Stress 12-0-24, this is an excellent choice. This is what I used on my entire lawn, both my zoysia and Bermuda. I did exactly what I'm telling you. I did Headway G, and I did this fertilizer that I'm showing you. So I would do those two things. Now, as far as pre-emergent, you do want to be a bit careful if it's brand new sod. If you put it in if you installed it in the springtime and you want to do pre-emergent in the fall, I'm not really opposed to that. If you put it down a week ago or so, then I'd want us to wait. I'd want us to give it some time. I'd say you could do a pre-emergent app, but I'd want to give it 3 months or so before you did that. So, let's say you did it in September, then late November, early December, you get a pre-emergent app down. Mainly because the last thing I want to do is, while we want to keep weeds out of your lawn, we don't want to do anything that could potentially inhibit the ability for that zoysia to root in and establish really well, right? So given the lesser of two evils, where you can have maybe increased weed pressure in your lawn or potentially damage the zoysia, dealing with weeds, something we can do after the fact. That's a fairly easy problem to solve. You got zoysia, there's tons of great post-emergent herbicides we can use to clean up any weeds that happen to break through. But if we get out there and we're too aggressive with the pre-emergent app on brand new sod, you could cause some injury this late in the season. I really wouldn't want to risk it. But so before I can tell you whether or not on pre-emergent and then which one I would go with, it would be useful to know how long it's been in. Again, my zoysia was installed in early April, and I did spectacle on it in September, and it looks, you can see it looks just fine. This is a picture of it that's literally a couple hours old. Like, that picture was taken like just before the live streaming, and that's what it looks like. So as long as it's had time to establish, I'd say a couple of months, just to be super conservative. Pre-emergent is fine. Everything else that I mentioned, though, fungicide and a quality fertilizer like our 12-0-24, both of those are great choices. Those are things you can do on your lawn now without any concern. All right. So in case you didn't get them, I'll send you the 2 links so you'll have them front and center. So there is the fertilizer, and this is, I'll just send you the link to the fungicides. You can pick which one you want. All right. And then this are your fungicides. All right. So there you go. There you go. So you're all set, sir, as far as what I would do, given that it's a relatively new lawn. And as far as pre-emergent goes, you could, as far as pre-emergent goes, if it's been 3 months, you could do something like prodiamine. Just to be conservative, Spectacle is my favorite fall pre-emergent, but I'll go back here really quickly. I'll show you another option. If you go to shop, actually, we'll just do this. We just search for prodiamine, right? So any of these are good options. I'd say if you like liquids, you can go with the 65 WDG, the water dispersible granule, and if you like if you like liquids, go with the water dispersal granule. If you prefer granular, go with our Lebanon Pro. This is what I would use if it's relatively new sod, as in like, within a few months. Either one of these will work well. And what you're going to want to do is do an app now and then another application 3 months from now. That should be enough to carry you into springtime. But again, I want to make sure that we're dealing with sod that's relatively well established. You've been mowing it. It's rooted in nicely. If you put it in a week ago, I don't want you going out there and putting pre-emergent down on it. All right. So I'll send you this as well to look at. But this one is optional, depending on how well established the sod is. I'm not going to give you spectacle just yet because I don't know enough about the lawn. All right. Okay, so moving on, we now have Mr. Robert Rainey. That guy have entered the live stream. He says, "Evening, everyone. A call-in show. Awesome. Yeah, man. Robert, if you are busy, I know you are probably at the chateau, doing whatever it is you guys do on a Friday night. But if you have, a free minute, you want to download the show. If not this week, next week, whenever you have time, feel free to do so. Again, for all the Lawn Legends members, it's open for you guys. So feel free to chat, dial in and tell us a little about your lawn. So Robert, just for any of you guys that don't know, he has it used to be rye Bermuda, but the Bermuda was fighting back a little bit. So we're calling it a Bermuda rye lawn. So this is what his lawn looks like. He has overseeded his Bermuda grass lawn with perennial ryegrass. According to the update he provided in the group, he did another some seed that went down again today. So the goal is to get this looking top notch as far as keeping the lawn green all throughout the season. All throughout the winter and into the springtime. So thanks for sending the picture. Robert is looking solid. And if you get a chance to dial in, if you want to, feel free to to do so. All right. Oh, okay. So next up. Sorry, guys, I'm fighting a bit of a cough tonight, so every now and then I'll go on mute. All right, so next up we have Kevin Jackson. Kevin Jackson's under the chat. He says, "Ron, is it still worth trying to control weeds with herbicides this time of year, specifically Dallas and crabgrass and sedges, or should I just let it die off with winter frost? Depends on where you are in the country. Crabgrass, to your point, and other warm season weeds are going to begin struggling as temperatures get cooler. If you're in Florida, I'd say, yeah, if you still want to go after them with quinclorac or the crabgrass with quinclorac, and say your sedges with a good selective herbicide like Certainty, like this, then yeah, that would be a good plan. So it depends on where you are in the country. Also depends on how much you really hate looking at it. You know what I mean? As far as Dallas grass goes, unfortunately, there's not a really great option for controlling Dallas grass in what kind of lawn you have. In residential lawns, because the product that was really good, you're not supposed to spray on residential lawns anymore. It's not labeled for use. So with Dallas grass, I would tell you your best bet is just going to be to physically remove it, to dig it out. I mean, you can spot spray with glyphosate, but I mean, it's very likely you're going to damage the grass in the surrounding area. So just kind of keep that in mind if you decide that you're going to go that route. You know what I mean? So just something to keep in mind. So it's really up to you. Again, if you're in Florida, if you want an option for crabgrass, quinclorac, if you want to get rid of the sedges, Certainty, Dallas grass, dig it out. If you're somewhere where the temperatures are getting much cooler and those weeds are already beginning to struggle and it doesn't really bother you that much, then you can just let them die off. Either way can work. It really does come down to whether the weeds are still actively growing where you are, and then also like how much you hate looking at them. All right, Kevin. So hope that helps, sir. Thanks so much for the question. So guys, something that we're going to be doing, and again, there's going to be an email that's going to go out tomorrow. So maybe over this weekend, soliciting your feedback. We like to get your feedback because one question we've gotten is around doing like a subscription plan of sorts, right? To where some of you guys are saying, hey man, I love the program, want to get the stuff just shipped to me regularly. And we're trying to, instead of just shipping you products, we're looking at different ways of adding even more value with it, to where we're going to look at if you do a subscription, we're going to bundle like the academy along with it. So you'll get access to the school group. You get the ability to dial into calls live, like what you saw Lori and Ed just do, as well as some other perks that we are still fleshing out that I think the members are really, really going to like. So given that it's going to take your time, and I know you guys, your time is very valuable. So what you guys can do if you care to do so, I'm gonna post it in the chat now, and it'll be on all of the platforms. So if you look at this link here, which will pop in now, it's a way for you to save. Let's see, we'll replace pin message. This is pin comment. So if you give your feedback, as far as that questionnaire goes, at the end of doing so, you'll receive a code that allows you to save 5% on your next order. You can only use it one time, and it's only going to run for a week while we gather this feedback, because we're trying to make sure that what we build, because it's quite a bit of work to do this, is exactly what you guys want, right? So while I could guess, better just to ask so we can build the correct thing, and that will be starting from a better position versus just getting something that's completely off base and everybody just not a match for what most people are looking for. So that link that you just saw that I just posted there in the chat to provide your feedback, at the end of filling out the survey, you will get a code and a link that will take you to the Golf Course Lawn Store, where you can save again 5%, and again that code is going to be good for the next week or so as far as it goes. And if you miss it tonight, it's going to be an email as well too. So we're going to put together an email. It'll probably go out tomorrow, kind of detailing all of this. But yeah, really like your feedback. Please take the time to go through it. Give me like good answers, any concerns you have, because we want to build something that's really really spectacular for anyone that just wants the convenience of a subscription program. All right. Okay, so on to the next question. You are very, very welcome, Randy. Happy to help out. Okay, let's go back up here. We have the Trilla from Manila. He's here. He says, hey, Ron, happy Friday, everyone. Yard is finally starting to check out, which means time to switch to turf rake. # dormant stripes. I dig it. I dig it, to Trilla. So it's starting to go dormant. You can set those dormant stripes in, so at least you can still stand out even with the stripes being dormant. I like it. And we got Devin. He says, my comment got skipped after Chuck Thomas. Devin, don't say that. I mean, how could I have skipped your comment? I don't see you. I don't see anything after Chuck for you, Devin. Can you mention it again? The first comment I have from you tonight is just this one. I don't see anything else from you. I don't see anything else from you, Devin. I don't. Yeah, you don't. I don't see anything else. If you can hit your comment again, whatever it is, but I don't see anything. You said your comment got skipped after Chuck Thomas. I don't see anything. Yeah, there's nothing there. Yeah, because I wouldn't ignore your comment or anything like that. I don't see anything from you. Or if you want to send me a message, or if you just want to come on really quickly and ask your question live, I can send you the link. I can send you the link. You can just call in if you want. So either way, you just let me know. Actually, you know what? I'll just do that. I'll give you the option. And if you decide to take advantage of it, you can. If you're busy working, I get it, and you don't have to. So let me try this. I see your message here on Instagram. So I'm pasting this to you. That link that I just sent you, Devin, that's posted, will allow you to join Zoom in case, again, you don't have to. It's not any obligation. I'm not sure. You might be busy doing stuff, but that will get you here in, and you can give your comment or whatever it happens to be, because the other one got skipped or didn't show up or whatever. I'm not sure what was in there that didn't cause it to not happen. Okay. Scott Smith said, pictures sent. Okay, Scott, I don't see any pictures from you. Did you send it to ron@golfcourselawn.com? I don't see anything from you. I got Philip, and I don't have anything else. I have no other pictures. Again, this is my email address. It might be a size thing too. If the pictures were too large, the mail server might drop them. So again, ron@golfcourselawn.com. That is me. You can try again, maybe make them smaller, but I don't have any new pictures at this point from anybody other than the one I already showed from Philip. All right. All right, Buddy Brown is up next. He says, I put prodiamine at the 0.4 rate in Beaufort, Georgia in early September. Yesterday, by mistake, my neighbor's lawn service put Spectacle Flow at the 1/10 of an ounce rate in the front yard. Can I still lay prodiamine in December? LOL. Man, I don't think you're really gonna need it, buddy. Just being completely real, to make sure if I understand correctly, you applied prodiamine at 4/10 or 0.40 ounces, 4/10 of an ounce per thousand, which is half of the rate for Bermuda grass. I'm assuming you're talking about the water dispersal granule, right? So that would be like half rate. And then yesterday, so you did that in early September. Yesterday, so we are in mid-October, they did Spectacle at 1/10 of an ounce. Dude, I don't know if you're really even going to need it. You know what I mean? I mean, I tell you this: if you are going to do another app of prodiamine, I would push it until. I mean, you really probably won't even need it, man. But I would push it till like mid to late December, because between if all you had done is prodiamine, then yes, my normal guidance as far as doing another app in November, December would hold. But given that you had Spectacle applied like a month later, and again, Spectacle has a pretty long residual, like there's not really going to be any need to apply pre-emergent again in 6 weeks. You know what I mean? So if you really want to give it till the end of December, to do another app of prodiamine, and then what that's going to allow you to do is if you wanted to wait until late February, early March to do your spring pre-emergent to go with like Dimension, that would be good. So it sounds like you've, based on what's happened to your lawn, you just shifted everything as far as your pre-emergent schedule just a little bit. But to answer your question, can you still do it? Yes. I would not do it in the end of November, the beginning of December. I would push it another 4 weeks to the end of December to early January. All right. And I guess thank your neighbor's lawn service for the free Spectacle. That's kind of it's kind of cool, right? It's kind of chill. You got a really, really nice pre-emergent. You didn't have to pay for it, which is fairly nice. How do they spray your lawn accidentally? That's crazy. Again, Spectacle is not an inexpensive product, so you'd think they would ensure they're only spraying the correct property. Okay, Scott, so you sent an email. I got your email, but there's no pictures attached. So we got email, but no picture. So, and again, worst case, if you send the picture in, we can get on the show for next week. I'll start creating the folder for next week tonight after the show's over. So even if we don't get it on, we'll get it on. We don't show it tonight. We'll be able to show it next week. So let not your heart be troubled. The folks will still see what you're working with in your lawn. All right. Okay. Next up, we have Cedric Garth. He says, "Hello, Ron. What is the best Bermuda seed to overseed with?" So here's the thing, Cedric. I really wouldn't recommend overseeding your Bermuda lawn with Bermuda grass seed. If you're going to establish a brand new lawn and you really don't want to do sod, which again, for like 90% of people, sod really is the way to go, then you could pick Yukon, Monaco. Those are two common ones. My two favorite Bermuda grass seeds are no longer available. Like I used to like Princess 77, and then its successor, Arden 15, which again has been discontinued for years now, was an amazing Bermuda grass, but you can't get it anymore. So again, what I would tell you is if you're going to do a renovation, like you're starting over from scratch, sod really is a better way to go. If you decide you're going to go the grass seed route, then look into Yukon or Monaco. Now, you didn't ask this question, but I'm going to kind of dig into this. I'm trying to play lawn detective here a little bit. So I guess as far as overseeding Bermuda, if Bermuda is getting enough sunlight, enough, and the nutrient is anywhere near close, right? It's getting nitrogen, it's getting plenty of sunlight and heat, Bermuda spreads like wildfire. So if you have an area of your lawn that is not doing well, maybe it's a little bit thin, you need to figure out like what are the environmental conditions that's causing the Bermuda grass to be thin in that area. Like overseeding isn't a way to fix a thin Bermuda lawn. Like you need to do a soil test. You need to make sure, like look around, make sure I've got this really big tree here, so not a whole lot of sunlight's getting on my lawn. So that's a problem. Like the one kryptonite that Bermuda grass has is shade. It's like ice cream and mayonnaise. It just don't go together. So shade and Bermuda grass don't go together. Like shade, even though, there's some manufacturers will tell you like our Bermuda grass is more shade tolerant than others. All that really means is like instead of it needing like 8 hours of sunlight, it needs like 7.5 hours of sunlight. It still needs all the sunlight to really do well. So I don't know what the problem is you're trying to solve with overseeding, but when it comes to Bermuda grass, this is not the way. This is not the way. We want to figure out like what is the conditions that's causing the lawn to be thin and fix that. And then you'll find that Bermuda it'll do what it does. It'll spread aggressively and fill in on its own. And you really don't want to skip this step, because let's say even if you don't listen to my advice and you go out and you go buy a bag of grass seed, here's what's going to happen in the best case scenario. If you went out and you put out grass seed, if you can get it to germinate, it'll germinate, and then whatever the issue was that was there will just happen again. So in other words, if you have an area that was thin due to lack of sunlight, meaning there's too much shade, and this is true for sod as well too, if you did sod or seed, if you put new sod in or you put grass seed there, if you can get it to germinate or if you can get the sod to establish, it'll look okay for a little while, but then it's going to behave just like the grass that was there is behaving. So especially with Bermuda, if you have a thin area, you really want to become a detective and try and figure out why. In most cases, it's lack of sunlight. That's the big one. A lot of traffic. So if you have, an area like near a driveway where like cars are parking on the grass, or there's a lot of foot traffic, that can cause it. I mean, compaction can slow down Bermuda grass, but it's fairly resilient, man. I mean, the biggest thing is just enough nutrients, so a good diet of nitrogen and sunlight. It's got to have plenty of direct sunlight to really do well. So hope that helps, sir. I know I kind of answered your question, but also didn't answer your question, but I'm also trying to save you from a bunch of headache as well too. Because one consideration you also have to make is that if you overseed Bermuda with Bermuda, like what you're more than likely going to be end up with is a mutt of a lawn, right? Because if your lawn had Bermuda from being installed by a builder, more than likely it was sod, and more likely it was like Tifway 419, because that's pretty much what they put in on all new construction, which is a hybrid. And if you go out there and you get something like Monaco or Yukon or any Bermuda grass seed, in most cases, those grass seeds are just improved common. So visually, the difference between a hybrid Bermuda and a common Bermuda, like the common Bermuda or even an improved common, the leaf blade is going to be a bit thicker. The color tends to be, not all cases, but in general, not quite as dark, not quite as rich as some of the hybrids. And here's the bad news. Once you have that other type of Bermuda in your lawn, there's not currently, not yet anyway, not saying it won't happen eventually, but there's not currently a way to selectively remove common Bermuda out of a hybrid lawn or vice versa. So once you've got it in there, you're kind of stuck with it unless you're going to like kill off the lawn altogether. So for all these reasons, and several others, you just really don't want to overseed Bermuda with Bermuda. It's just not going to match, and you're going to create a headache that you really can't easily fix once you've created it. All right. So hope that helps, Cedric. Great question. I think you're new to the live stream. If not, if you are new, welcome, because I don't think I've ever seen your name before. But hopefully I've convinced you that if you are going to do a renovation, do sod, and if you are going to go the hard, play the game on hard mode and do grass seed, ensure that the environment is completely that you do as much as you can to give yourself the best chance for success. Even if you were going to do a renovation and do grass seed to establish a Bermuda lawn, this time of year in October would not be the time to do it. You would want to do it in the springtime, ideally when soil temperatures are in the mid 60s and trending warmer. So springtime is when you would establish a new Bermuda lawn from grass seed. October would be like literally one of the worst times of the year to do it. Assuming it would grow in at all, like you'd likely lose a lot of it to cold temperatures. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Appreciate the question. And we got Scott's pictures came in. We got over our technology challenges. So cool. Thanks, Scott. So we can show the folks what you're working with here. Okay, so Scott Smith. Let me rename these 1 and then Scott S2. All right, so 1 and 2. I gotta tell you, man, looks like it's still being I'm not sure if you're real mowing that yet, but that actually looks really good already. I mean, color aside, I'm looking at like the evenness of the cut. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. It's a good foundation for next year. So this is what he's working with. So Scott was cutting his lawn with a rotary mower, electric rotary push mower. He's going over to a 7-blade push reel mower. And I gotta tell you, man, like overall, you know, if that's what the rotary mower is doing already, that looks pretty good. I mean, again, color wise, you can't really like judge too much on the color right now because it's the fall. Bermuda's not really going to be doing that great right now. But as far as just the evenness, like your lawn looks fairly smooth as it is, so that's going to get even better. Yeah, once you're able to put a reel mower on that, man. Yeah, yeah, I like it. It's a good foundation. Good foundation to start. It'll look even better as you begin working on it. So good stuff. I like it. All right. So Randy gives us some more context. He says emerald zoysia laid 1 week ago. Other area of the yard is 1 year old with emerald zoysia. Okay, cool. So for the area that was laid 1 week ago, we will not do pre-emergent. That will not get pre-emergent. I mean, really 3 months. So October. So November, December. Yes, really late January, early February, if you wanted to get ahead of it. So really, your first pre-emergent on the new zoysia is going to be when you're doing your spring pre-emergent app. For the 1 year old emerald zoysia, it really is going to come down to your budget. You could use the prodiamine that I sent to you already. That's going to be an option. The best product, in my opinion, for pre-emergent on zoysia is a pre-emergent called Spectacle Flow. Now, this stuff is not cheap, but it's not cheap because it is, in my opinion, by far the best option you can use on warm season turf grass. So, Spectacle, as far as keeping Poa annua, Poa triv, and a host of all the cool season weeds or the weeds that tend to grow when temperatures are cooler, this is an excellent product. It's really in a class of its own, in my opinion, as far as pre-emergent, and the price kind of reflects that. This bottle covers 3 acres, so while it is expensive to buy initially, like you're going to have it for years and years and years. So this is what I would use on the zoysia that's a year old, that's established, it's doing fine. And then on the one that was laid a week ago, I would do nothing other than the fungicide and the 12-0-24 fertilizer. That's all I would do with that. All right. And you can find Spectacle Randy on the Golf Course Lawn Store if you're interested. I'll send you a link to it so you can check it out for yourself. But that's what I would use on a warm season lawn. Again, the biggest thing is budget. If you got the budget for it, then I would, which you probably do, man, because you're a zoysia man. You got like emerald zoysia, so you can probably spring for a top shelf pre-emergent. All right. Okay. Next up, we have Randy Cobb. He says, thank you, Ron. No worries at all. So Devin, I see your comment here on Instagram. I'll just read it. You said, hey man, I haven't forgotten you about the dates. Just been super busy at the course. Going to get your soil test results soon and share them on the stream along with some good pictures. Have a lot of stuff to share on course-wise regarding construction. New putting green. That's cool. Once things slow down a little bit, we'll get some dates. Cool. So pretty much Devin was saying he hasn't forgotten us. He's going to grace us with his presence at some point. But right now, he's just busy with work, which I get it, man. Work pays the bills, so work first. Completely get it. No worries at all as far as that goes. Oh, he says, oh yeah, here we go. Very weird. Anyways, so looking forward to some good turf talk. Sent you an IG message for me getting back on the stream. Got some great lawn and course stuff to share. Nice, man. Very, very, very cool. Looking forward to it. I'm sure the folks will enjoy having you on. It's always a hit when you're on the show because then, even though I do my best, Devin, to show love to the cool season folks, I mean, it nothing beats a guy that only works on cool season grass, year in, year out. So it'll be good to have you on. And anyone that's on the show, looks like the feed for Facebook, like Meta, dropped. So switch over to YouTube or Instagram or Twitter if you want to continue watching him. I'm not sure what happened there. Like you said, I can't hop on tonight, leaving for dinner soon, but looking forward to the next stream. Could be the best one. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. And yep, you said resend with the correctly spelled address. Yeah. So yeah, and I gotta tell you, Scott, it looks good. You said you just mowed today, and it looks solid. It looks solid. I mean, this for a lawn that was rotary mowed looks already quite nice. And then when you start real mowing it, it's going to get that much better. So, I mean, it's a great start. And then one day, when you really get just, to where, even the push real mower is not enough, you got to go even harder in the game. Then you get you a powered mower, and then you're off to the races, man. Right? All right, next up is Mac042. Julian says, hey, the calendar calls for the second pre-emergent treatment end of November. Can I do this one the end of October since I'll be out of town for a month, the month of November? Thanks. You can, Julian, but what I'd say is this: are you out of town the entire month and you're going to be back in December? Is that what's going to happen, or are you? I'm trying to understand when you're going to be back. So if you're out of town the entire month of November, but you'll be back early December, I would wait until then. Because here's why, right? If you're doing prediamine, the goal that what we're trying to really get with that is to stretch the coverage, the benefits of pre-emergent out until our spring app. And if you do it in October, the end of October, you got so November, all of November, December, January, that's 3 months. We're getting kind of towards to where prediamine's starting to fall off. And then February. So now if you decide you're going to do it the end of this month, then really you're looking at the end of January if you are looking to get your spring pre-emergent out, which again is just a bit early. You could wait a bit till a bit later on if you can. So given the choice, if you're out of town all of next month, all of November, but you'll be back in say early December, then I would do your pre-emergent then personally. I would, because you've done your pre-emergent in September. If a week or so is not really going to make a difference, I would wait to push it out until early December if you can. So that's my thoughts. Feel free to comment though if you're I'm not sure if you moved over to the school group, the new Lawn Legends school group. So if you are there, drop a message in there and I'll hit you up, or just email me. We chat back and forth all the time. So just email me and I can let me know exactly what your schedule is going to look like, and I can give you some better guidance as far as what I would do. But given the choice, given that you've already put it out in September, I would not really want to apply pre-emergent again in October. It's a bit soon. You know what I mean? I'd want to wait till December to do it. So hope that helps, sir. Next up, we got Mr. Darren Proctor. He says, hello, everyone. Hit the like button. Thank you so much, Darren. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you are doing well, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out in the chat. Darren, I'm not sure if you've moved over to the new school group as well, the Lawn Legends school group. If not, look for an email from me, and that will let you know how to join. I think you should be, and I can actually look in here and see. You may or may not. Yeah, you are. You're already moved over. I can see here. You're already in here. Cool. Good stuff, man. Nice. And again, guys, if you guys, any of you guys that are in the Lawn Legends group, if you have a question, I'm not saying you have to, but if you have a question, you can do what Lori and Ed did, and feel free to join the link that we have that's that's just private, just for you guys, and that will be able to get you guys on the show to answer your question live if you so desire. But if you're good, you're good. I get it. All right, next up is Mr. Michael Coulthard. He was a Formula One driver. Last name was Coulthard. He's pretty good. He says, hey, hope all are having a great evening. Just want to know, when is the best time to do irrigation? Thanks. Okay, so I guess the question is, Michael, when is the best time to install an irrigation system? Whenever, really. I mean, there's not really a... I'll tell you this. I'll put it to you this way. If you wanted to do it now, now would not be a bad time. When I would be least likely to do it, or when I would try and stay away from doing it, is if you want your lawn to look as good as possible during the growing season. And I'm going to answer this question, say you have warm season grass, right? So if you had a Bermuda lawn, I'd say, hey, if you want to get irrigation installed, you can do it now. There's no real reason to really wait. Reason why I say that is Bermuda hasn't fully checked out yet. I mean, it likely will recover for the most part from it getting trenched and having, pipes and everything laid in the lawn. And then what that's going to buy you is between now and the spring. When the lawn gets into full swing, everything will have been settled. Like if there's any kind of settling that's going to happen from the trenching, that will all be like settled out. So if you decide you need to do a top dressing next year or any kind of lawn leveling project, that's going to be, you'll get a better result with it. And also you're not going to have to mess up your lawn when it's nice and green. You know what I mean? Like, so in other words, if you're got like a dormant Bermuda lawn, you're going to go dig it up and you're going to go you trench it, put irrigation in. I mean, it's already dormant. It doesn't look that great, right? But it would hurt my heart. It would be painful to go out and, install irrigation like in like May, June, when Bermuda's looking its absolute best. So given the choice, you could do it now. You could do it in really early spring. So like March, before things are really going. Either of those could be an option, but there's really not a time of year when I'd say you're really off limits as far as doing that. You know what I mean? You could do it now. If you got what you might find, you might get a better price now, right? Most people that are working on their lawns and do this kind of work, they tend to wait till springtime. So the irrigation services might be a bit slow. They might give you a better deal if you do it now versus waiting till next year. So I hope that helps, sir. Yeah, get it done. Give the lawn ample time, or the area that's going to get disturbed by getting the plumbing put in, ample time to settle. And then next year you'll be off to the races. And I will tell you, dude, I mean, people don't realize how awesome it is to have an irrigation system. Like it's really, it's like a game changer as far as just convenience. And then pretty much if you get one, any of the new ones are going to pretty much have a wireless controller. So even if you get like a Hunter or a Rainbird, I think pretty much all their newer controllers can support wireless. So just from your phone, you'll be able to say, run an irrigation cycle now, or skip this cycle, or set up your whole program. You can do it all on your phone, which is really, really cool. So yeah, hope that helps, sir. Keep us posted as far as how it works out. Send pictures if you want. You can we can see how the lawn was before, how it was during, and how it was after the irrigation system is installed. All right. All right, good stuff. Next up, you said, yes, I'll be back December 3rd. I would wait December 3rd, dude. So I know I say the end of October, early December in the calendar. December 3rd counts as early December. So I would wait until then if it were me. It's just going to allow you to extend that coverage into the late winter, early spring. If you do your pre-emergent, your second app in December, you get December, January, February. So now you've got options. You can say, if I want to do my pre-emergent mid-February, fine. Want to wait till like early March, fine. But if you do it now, you're kind of going to be on the tail end of the effectiveness of that prodiamine. All right. So for that reason, I would wait. So guys, hopefully you guys are enjoying this. If you guys are liking the format where folks can call in, I guess let me know. You can, I could ask a poll, put a poll out if you guys like the new format or not. Do you like live questions? Some folks will be like, no, we don't like them. It's terrible. It's irritating. I don't care about their problems. I only want to talk about my problems. And some people will be like, yeah, this is great. Do more of it. So there's a poll. We'll get some feedback from you guys as we go on. Hopefully you guys say yes, because it was quite a bit of work to get all the technology plumbing worked out to make this work. And it actually worked out better than I thought it would. So it's kind of cool. We weren't any audio issues, which is nice. Okay. Next up is Joaquin Velasquez. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. If not, I apologize. It says, Ron, hope you're doing well, sir. I can't complain, man. A little bit of a cold, but overall not bad. I ordered a few things from you last week and everything was above my expectations, and love the custom seal tape. Keep up the good work. Praise. Love to hear that, Joaquin. Everything was great other than my pronunciation, right? Probably that. But yeah, love to hear that. We do take a lot of care in making sure things are packed properly and that you get a good experience with us. We want you to get a premium result with your lawn, and that we try and carry that from everything from like the products we carry, the content that we put out, and even down to the packaging. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it and everything got to you safe and sound. If I can help with anything, don't hesitate to reach out. All right, Julian says, gotcha, thanks. You're very welcome, sir. And then yes, Darren says, yes, I did sign up. So yeah, guys, so any of the Academy members, so people that have joined over the years, you guys are going to be grandfathered in. Like the pricing structure for it is all going to change, but anyone that is already purchased and it hasn't changed yet, will be automatically put into the new school group. So check your email. I'm going to send it out again so we can get the rest of you guys over. I don't want to leave anyone behind. So you guys will feel some kind of way, right? Okay, next up is, let's see here, Arid Jeweler, I guess, is what do you think of putting pre-emergent for the winter on a lawn that hasn't fully spread via sod plugs? It depends on when the plugs went in. So the thing that you're trying to be careful with, right, is like the root system of new grass. So if you say you were going to establish your lawn using sod plugs and you put those plugs in like June, right? But you space them out far enough that it's just taken a while for it to fill in. So those plugs have been in, say, for several months. They don't really have I wouldn't be opposed to you putting out pre-emergent, because if you have a bunch of bare area, like that is ripe for weeds to establish in that. So pre-emergent would be a good choice. Now, if you're telling me that you put the sod plugs in a week ago, then no, I wouldn't do pre-emergent then, because we don't want to do anything that's going to inhibit the ability of the sod plugs to drive nice and deep roots. So unfortunately, the best answer to the question is it depends. It depends on how long the sod plugs have been in. There are some people that'll say, 30 days later you can apply pre-emergent on a warm season lawn. I like to take a more conservative approach. I'd say 3 months. So if the plugs have been in for 90 days, then I wouldn't be opposed to you applying pre-emergent. But if they're much younger than that, again, even if you're using something like prodiamine, you're probably going to be fine. But I really would not want you to do anything that could potentially damage the the lawn that you're trying to establish via plugs. So hopefully that helps give you some guidance. Sorry I can't give you a clear answer to your question because I don't know exactly how long it's been as far as how long the plugs have been in, but that gives you some I guess something to kind of chew on as far as whether you are ready to do pre-emergent or not. Again, depending on how aggressive you want to be. Again, is 90 days strictly necessary? No. But if you're just, here's how I try to answer these questions. I try to balance, strike a balance. I figure a person that goes out and goes and spends the money to renovate their lawn, put plugs in, or to sod their lawn, or to put grass seed down to try and do a renovation, like that is the primary thing that they really want to work out well. Yes, everyone wants to not have weeds in their lawn, but the thing that's most important is that the new sod, the new plugs in your case, establish nicely so they can spread and fill in the lawn. So given the choice, I'm willing to make the sacrifice of potentially fighting a bit of dealing with a bit more weed pressure to ensure that we give the plugs, sod, grass seed every possible advantage to be able to establish as well as possible. So you're trying to balance between those two things when it comes to whenever you're asking the question as to whether or not to do pre-emergent on relatively young turf grass. All right. So hope that helps. And then Michael Coulthard says, "I'm not that guy." Haha. So you're not related, no relation to the F1 driver. Okay. All right. So you said yes, install. Yeah. So if you're going to install it, dude, I mean, if you're getting a good price in quotes now, I would get it done now. There's not really, I can't think of any good reason really to wait. I would just get it done. And you said you're doing St. Augustine plugs. Okay. So yeah. So you did, I guess you're in Florida, Texas, somewhere in the Southeast. It's still the answer still holds. It really depends on how long the how long the plugs have been there. How long have you had them in the ground? Like how established are they? In other words, have they already started spreading to where they, you feel like they're fairly established and you're just waiting for them to fully fill in? And you want to put some pre-emergent out? Sure. But if they're brand new, I personally would not, just to be safe. You don't want to damage the new grasses you just spent all that money and time plugging. And then Michael says, yes, here in Georgia, warm season and zoysia. Yeah. I mean, here's another thing too, Michael, to consider, right? Zoysia, as I am learning, takes its sweet time. When they say that zoysia grows slow, it's true that it does grow slow, but also as far as its ability to recover from injury, it's especially slow. So I'd rather deal with it. In other words, if you do it now, here's the benefits to it. If you install the irrigation now, For the most part, the zoysia will recover, will be on the mend over the winter into the springtime. And then really all you have to worry about then is it coming out of dormancy and then living its best life and doing what zoysia does, right? If you decide we're gonna have this conversation in say like May, June, when zoysia is looking spectacular, and then you get out there with a ditch witch or whatever you're gonna happen to use and dig it all up and put irrigation in, it's not going to look, it's going to take a while for it to look really good because it just takes a long time to recover. So I would just deal with the pain now when it's on its way out versus the time of year when it's really, when you really want it to look its absolute best. It's really up to you. There's really no right answer or really no wrong answer as far as when, but if it were me, I would opt for now versus when the lawn is really, really in growth mode. All right. And you said your plan is to top dress in the spring. Even more reason to do it now, because whenever you go out there, if they are not using like a ditch witch to do it, if they're actually trenching, they're going to trench to get out, take all this dirt out. They're going to lay the pipes, lay all the valves and everything, put the irrigation heads in. They're going to put the dirt back in, lay your zoysia sod back in. And regardless of how good a job they do, there's going to be some areas that are going to be higher, some areas are going to be lower, and some of it's going to settle. So the more time you can give it for that to just happen, you're going to be able to get a better job with your top dressing come next spring. So again, for that reason alone, I would do it sooner than later. Okay. All right. Mowing Mississippi says, Tom, you watching? I'm not sure who Tom is, but hopefully he's watching. And guys, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, feel free to please hit the like button. Costs you absolutely nothing. It's a free way to support the channel. We got 60 people in the live stream, only 37 likes. This hurts my heart. So if you guys wouldn't mind hitting the like button, vote up, vote down, vote sideways, whatever engagement you want to give, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, let me know, give me a thumbs up if you guys are liking the live stream. All right. Michael Coulthard says, you have some pics of before. We'll send as we progress. Okay, cool. All right. So I have pictures of before. Maybe you sent them. Maybe I already have them in a different email. Okay, yeah. So as you get it done, let us keep us posted, man. Looks good. All right. Next up is mowing in Mississippi. He says overseeding Bermuda in Mississippi with rye. Any thoughts? Any issues come spring getting rid of the rye? It's a great question. Mowing in Mississippi. So here's the thing you have to ask yourself: are there benefits to overseeding Bermuda grass with ryegrass? Yes, visually it's awesome, right? Like it looks spectacular. If you look at Robert Rainey's lawn, you're gonna have everyone else's lawn is gonna be dormant, and yours is gonna be a vibrant, lush green with amazing stripes, and that's kind of cool. Like the cool factor for overseeding Bermuda with ryegrass over the fall and winter is undeniable, right? The negative to this is come springtime, we fast forward to like March, April, when ryegrass is looking its absolute best, it's looking absolutely spectacular. That's really when you have to get rid of it if you don't want to negatively impact your Bermuda coming out of dormancy. So, I always tell folks, if you look at the Masters tournament typically held in the first part of April, because ryegrass looks incredible then, really right like then or even before, you're going to want to get rid of it. You want to spray it out. The mistake that some folks will make is they'll say, I'm just going to let time run its course and allow the ryegrass to die off on its own. And you really don't want to do that because the ryegrass will negatively impact. Well, it's going to really, really negatively impact your Bermuda grass's ability to come out of dormancy and really grow in come springtime. So as long as you're willing to get rid of the rye in like late March next year, then yeah, you could be the cool kid on the block that has a green lawn when everyone else's lawn is dormant. So you have to just ask yourself whether or not that's worth it or not. And what you will find is even if you do spray it out, it is going to delay the green up of the Bermuda a little bit. So whereas like, for example, take my lawn, my Bermuda begins greening up in like March, early March, late February, early March, you start seeing some green come in. Robert Rainey, his lawn, when he doesn't overseed, same thing, like late February, early March, the green is starting to come in, right? if you decide to overseed and you get rid of it with a selective herbicide like Celsius come late March, early April, you're shifting that green up by 4 to 6 weeks. So it's still going to green up, still going to be fine, but you're not going to be the first person, the best. In other words, your Bermuda grass is going to be behind the other Bermuda grass lawns on your street more than likely if you decide to do this. You have to kind of ask yourself whether or not that's worth it. For most people, it is, because again, like from like now until late March, like you're gonna have like literally the best looking lawn on your street, right? So that's the only consideration I'd say you really want to make as far as overseeding Bermuda with ryegrass, and also whether or not you want to have to mow your lawn in the winter, because that's another thing you have to realize too. Like right now for me, I'm pretty much checked out. I mow the zoysia, but that's about it right now this time of year. I don't really have to do a whole lot of mowing. It's really slowed down. You put ryegrass in, you're going to have to maintain a regular mowing schedule if you want it to look as absolute best over the fall, winter, and then early spring. So you have to ask yourself that as well, whether that's something that you want to have to do. All right. So if that helps mowing in Mississippi, if you need anything else, let us know. You still got time. I mean, now would not be a bad time to go and get that done. You still got time to do it if you decide to go that route. Okay. Next up, he says, thank you. The sod plugs were installed over a year ago. Okay, yeah. So then, wow. So I guess you did really wide spacing, I guess, on the plugs. So yeah, if they've been installed for a year, I imagine you did some mowing over this past season, right? So they're fairly well established. If you want to do pre-emergent, I'd be fine with that, because essentially it's year-old grass. So yeah. But yeah, man, a year. Because St. Augustine tends to spread fairly well, so I'm surprised that you still have bare areas. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Maybe you did it over a year ago, and maybe the lawn is completely filled in by now. So if that's what you're dealing with, then yeah, go ahead and do your pre-emergent. Just when you said that I install sod plugs, I'm just visualizing a lawn with a bunch of plugs in it, and if that were done over a year ago, I'm surprised that St. Augustine over the course of the entire 2025 season would not have largely filled in by now. At any rate, it doesn't change my answer. It's over a year old. Apply pre-emergent this fall. That is what I would do. Should be good to go as far as that goes. We got John Williams in the live stream. He says, I have a question. Sorry if you answered it already. I'm late to the party. Should I cut my celebration Bermuda in Savannah? It's green, but you can see some yellowing. Thanks. Yes. Yeah. Here's the thing, John. As long as it's still mowing, still mowing. As long as it's still growing, you can mow it. It is going to slow down, and as long as you don't make any height of cut changes, like for example, if you don't allow the lawn to get overgrown, or you make a height of cut change, like you're trying to lower the height of cut, like for the most part, there's really no negative to continue to mow at this time of year. As far as when you can stop mowing it, we published an article, I think last week or the week before. If you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to resources and blog. There's a blog on when to stop mowing before winter hits. So with you being in Savannah, you're near the coast, you'll likely be mowing, if you want to, well into November. So answer your question is yes, keep mowing it. If it's still growing, mow it. And this is the blog post that I'm talking about, when to stop mowing your lawn. So you can check that out. But the long short of it, John, is if it's still growing, still green, just don't make any height of cut changes. Don't let it get overgrown. And yeah, there's really no negative to doing it. You're not going to hurt anything. Okay? So hope that helps, sir. Hope that helps. Great question. And you know what, John, I'm sure someone else is going to have that. So we will add you to the queue of videos to make. All right. Okay, next up is Hinkles Pro Golf. He says, stopping by to say thank you for the Friday night turf talk. We'll listen in tomorrow during my mow time. Nice. I like it, Hinkles Pro. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully the program and the fertilizer that we've been helping you with over the season has worked well for you. So thanks for stopping by just to say hello. Really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate you. Next up, we got Mr. Gavin Moore. Gavin Moore's under the chat. He says, hey, Ron, hope you're having a good stream. His question, what would be a good slow to fast release a good slow to fast release and slow fertilizer. I have turf type tall fescue and Kentucky bluegrass. Okay, so you're talking about a fertilizer that's a blended product that's got a slow release and fast release nitrogen in it. What I would use this time of year, Gavin, if you go to the golf course lawn store, go to shop and go to lawn fertilizer, I would put you into our 12-024. This is a blended product. Pretty much all the fertilizers that we carry on the store, they are blends. They're a blend of faster release nitrogen and slower release nitrogen. And this one having a higher percentage of potassium in the analysis is going to be good as temperatures get cooler. It's going to help your lawn manage that stress of the cooler temperatures are going to be coming on here pretty soon. So this is what I would go with as far as a fertilizer for this time of year on your turf type tall fescue and Kentucky bluegrass lawn. All right. So I'll send you a link to that there in the chat. That's what I would roll with. All right. So hope that helps. Alabama Lawn Works in the house saying smashing that like button. Thanks so much, Alabama Lawn Works. I appreciate that. Appreciate all the love and support. And then next up is Mowing in Mississippi. He says, thank you for the thoughtful answer. My concern is my yard can hold moisture and my California trimmer with the 4-inch wheels will leave ruts if the yard is somewhat soft. Let's see here. So I'm trying to understand what does... I mean, yeah, I get you that your trimmer you can leave ruts in the lawn. But what does that have to do with with the overseeding part of it? Oh, I get it. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So if you overseed, yeah, I understand now. Now I'm tracking. I'm a Georgia fan. Sometimes it takes us a while, guys. So if you overseed your lawn, you have to get out there and you do have to mow it during the winter months when you tend to be more rainy and you worry about your mower causing ruts in a lawn that's going to stay wet for longer. A couple ways you can get around that mowing in Mississippi is if you can just vary your mowing pattern each time. So let's say that this is your lawn. Instead of always mowing it every single time this way, every time, like it's Monday, we mow it this way. It's Wednesday, we mow it this way. It's Friday, we mow it this way. Every time you mow, change the mowing pattern. So mow this way, maybe Monday, and then come Wednesday, maybe mow it, 90 degrees. If you're really a boss, then you go diagonal. Like, so if you vary the mowing pattern, you reduce the amount of wear that the mower is going to introduce. I mean, given that you have the trimmer, you are going to have some hot spots in the lawn just due to the way that mower, like the weight is distributed with that mower because of the, you got like 2 wheels and the way the mower is sitting on those 2 wheels, you can't really get around that. But if you change the mowing pattern each time, you can reduce the amount of ruts that you have in your lawn. Like when I had my True Cut, I did exactly what I'm telling you to do. So every time I mowed, I would vary it. I would like mow in 4 different directions each time, and changing it each time I mowed the lawn. And did I get some ruts in it? Yeah, but they weren't really nearly as bad as if I just mowed the same way each time. So, I mean, in other words, I would not let that hold you back. If you want to overseed your lawn, you decide that getting rid of the ryegrass in the springtime is not off-putting to you, I wouldn't let the mowing part of it really hold you back as long as you're willing to get out there and do it. Just vary the pattern each time and you're going to be fine. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Great question. And keep us posted as regards whether or not you decide to go forward with the overseed. All right. And then John Williams says, Ron, you need some lemon garlic pearls from the store. Hope you feel better soon, sir. Thanks so much. Yeah, what I've got here is, this is like watermelon, lemon, ginger. There's no onion in it, but I do have ginger. I guess ginger is good for colds, right? I guess. You know what's good for colds? Talking about turf grass. That's what's good for colds. All right, so let's see what else we have. Next up, we got Mr. Brothers and Bitcoin saying, glad to have caught another live stream. Awesome. Glad that you're here. Appreciate you taking some time out of your Friday to come by and say hello. And then next up is John Williams. He says, Ron, have you stopped fertilizing for the year? Yes. So as far as granular fertilizer, yes, I'm done. The zoysia is still looking pretty nice. So I am still spraying liquids, just the carbon kit and some micronutrient. So no more granular for the year, but just the 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen that I get from spraying my liquid part of the spoon feeding program. I'm still doing that on the front lawn, because it still looks great. You can still see, for this time of year, not bad. Not bad. That's what we're working with, right? This is a static picture. Color still looks pretty nice. And this is like after being double cut. So, so I'll keep spoon feeding, so doling out little nutrient to it, but no more granular. I'm done with granular until March 2026. Done with granular fertilizer. All right, looks like our next and our last question of the evening is Brothers in Bitcoin. He says, question, in your opinion, when is the latest someone in North Georgia can overseed turf type tall fescue? I don't know. I mean, overseed it with what? I mean, are you talking about you have a turf type tall fescue lawn and you're looking just to thicken it up? I mean, if you are, you can still do it now if you want to, Brothers in Bitcoin. So like, if you think about some of the parts of, and I call it like old Atlanta, like Vinings, like go to some of the areas, some of the neighborhoods like in Buckhead that have really big trees that Bermuda grass would not grow. Like the lawns are a lot more shaded. I mean, if you wanted to, thicken those lawns up with a little bit of an overseed, then that would be fine to do now. You could have done it last month. You could do it now if you want to, but I would really remember like turf type tall fescue. It can work well in Georgia. Like there are some like there's a church that's not too far from here. Like it's across from the street from the place that I train at, and they have like full sun, no shade, and they have turf type tall fescue, and they're able to keep it alive like year round. Mind you, come summertime, they are putting like a ton of water on it to keep it around. So I'd say that like fescue, in my opinion, unless you have an area of a property where you just have, in other words, if unless you have shade or you've got a ton of money to be able to run a really huge watering bill in the summer months, fescue's not the best choice. But if your lawn is one where you've already got fescue, it's been doing well and you're just looking to thicken it up a little bit, yeah, you can overseed it now if you want to. There really wouldn't be an issue with that. Again, if you drive through Atlanta, through like Vinings, parts of Midtown, Buckhead, like again, some of the older neighborhoods with really big trees in the lawns, a lot of those lawns are fescue because nothing else really will grow there and do well. I guess you could do zoysia, but you see a lot of fescue in those areas. All right, guys. So we will stop the poll. Let's see what everyone else thought as far as this goes. So I asked, did you guys like the live questions? And 93% of you said yes. So that means we will continue to do it. So Academy members, members of the Lawn Legends community, feel free to bring your questions, comments, and you know what I'll probably do, guys? I'll start posting in the group as far as it's like some talking points, and if you want to participate, you guys can jump on and do that. So give you guys an option to get a little bit more engagement and get your question answered directly from me if you want to. All right. Well, guys, gals, thank you guys again so much for watching. That was our last comment of the evening. Next week, again, because it's October time, next week, I have a martial arts engagement that I cannot get out of on Friday night. So our live stream will be Thursday night. So we're going to still have it next week. It's just going to be on a Thursday instead of Friday. So same time, different day, 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. We will have the live stream. Same format. It seems like you guys liked it. We didn't have too many technology problems as far as getting the live calls in, so we'll do that again next week. All right. There's running. We have one more question here. This last one we'll take. This is from AGZ2318. He says, can you still fertilize St. Augustine in South Florida if the weather doesn't get too cold? Yes. Also, when is the best time to put down pre-emergent if the temperature is going to be in the low 80s? So with you being in South Florida, some folks there run a quarterly pre-emergent program, right? Because for you guys, it never really gets like too cool per se, to where you have to you're fighting poa annua and some of the weeds that we have to deal with up here. So in your case, every quarter you could do pre-emergent if you wanted to, AGZ. And to answer the first part of your question, I already answered it, but I'll answer it again. Yes, you can still fertilize your St. Augustine. The rule for turf grass for the most part is if it's still actively growing, meaning you're out there mowing it twice per week, there's still new leaf, new growth that's still happening, then you can feed it. And with you being in South Florida, your weather is a lot milder, or I should say your winters are far more mild than what we have here in Georgia. So as long as it's actively growing, man, you can continue feeding it. There's not really any negative with that. All right. So hopefully that helps. A good fertilizer, don't go crazy to try and push a bunch of growth, but you can still absolutely still feed that lawn if it's still growing. All right. Well, on that note, guys, gals, we will cue the outro music. Again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to come hang out on Friday nights. I always appreciate being able to chat about lawn care, about turf grass. It's there's other places you guys could be, but I appreciate you guys taking the time to come spend some time here. Again, we will do the show again next week. Next week it'll be on Thursday night. Just for next week, it'll be on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, so we can have the show, because I've got a commitment that I can't get out of on Friday night. And as always, if you're looking for an excellent curated selection of fertilizer, pre-emergent, fungicides, insecticides, pretty much everything you need to get a lawn that your neighbors are absolutely going to envy, we would love the opportunity to serve you at the Golf Course Lawn Store. Also, be sure to take some time, save yourself some money as well too. If you need some products this time of year to provide your feedback, you guys can help shape some of the products and offerings we have in the store for next season around subscriptions and some other things. So feel free to take advantage of that. Again, the survey will be available for the next week or so. And again, you can use that 5% discount to save yourself some on some products you can buy in the store. Have a great weekend. If you watch football, hopefully your team does well. And I will talk to you guys next week, next Thursday. Take care.